Heading into the 80s, Atari's video computer system and Mattel Electronics' Intellivision were in heated competition, each boasting their own strengths while pointing out each other's weaknesses. Intellivision had the better graphics and sports titles, but didn't have any arcade ports that Atari had, even though it was quickly becoming an outdated system. With this in mind, the Connecticut Leather Company, or Coleco, who were known for their Pong clones and stellar handheld systems, saw an opportunity to release a new system that had a greater vision than any other system that came before. It's the ColecoVision. Your vision is our vision is what they would tout in their many memorable advertisements. And the vision of bringing true arcade graphics, controls, even the full experience home was something everybody wanted back then. And that is exactly what they were gonna get. Or at least the closest thing to it. The ColecoVision was released in August of 1982. And as it says on the box, it's the arcade quality video game system. A bold statement to claim for sure, but if you were in doubt, you could see behind the rainbow logo all the many games that were released or were gonna be for it, including the bonus Donkey Kong game that comes with the system. This was a major get for Coleco, as it was the most popular game at the time, not to mention this port had ruined a potential partnership between Nintendo and Atari, where the Atari Entertainment System would never see the light of day. The system may look good on the box, but wait till you see it out of it. But before that, we can see some more claims about its arcade-style controls and expansion modules that we'll get to in a bit. The flaps on every side pretty much show off or say the same things you would have already seen on the front, but it also puts the contents within in simpler terms here. The vision has to be simplified to an extent. We want to play those great arcade titles, but we want to know what can come with said vision. And what better way to know what you could potentially get with the ColecoVision by having a look at the back. Now I know my box isn't in the best of shape, sometimes that happens when collecting, but it isn't too ripped to see the many other games that are available for the system as well as detailed information about the ColecoVision and its assets as a whole. State-of-the-art graphics, controls, and expanding capabilities will ensure that the Vision will always stay state-of-the-art. Can't blame them for thinking that. But the box has overstayed its welcome, so it's time to fling this away and take a closer look at the Vision itself. The first thing that you'll notice on the top here is a consumer notice to read the owner's manual before using the Vision. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the manual with this, but the internet is a quick OK Google away. We can also see the on and off switch, the cartridge input, the reset button, and the controls that lay somewhat comfortably in their tray. I have no reason to remove them from the scene as this is where they are meant to be when not in use, but get your looks in now for you won't hear another mention of these until the AC review. On the front of the system, we have a nice sleek logo with a metallic-like display surrounding the whole thing all the way to the expansion slot. This little baby could do numerous things, two notable ones including play Atari VCS games on the system, which was a shocking thing at the time. Surprised they even got away with it when it was new. The other thing was that you could connect this to their future failure of a computer system known as the Atom. By this point, it was touted as the only system you'll ever need, which looked like the case. Play all Atari games, have a computer, and have the arcade experience. The Vision was so strong it even resorts to stealing other gaming libraries. The sides of the Vision don't have anything to look at, but the back has a good amount to talk about. We see here the Channel 3, Channel 4 switch, as well as the RF connector that could actually be taken out of the base unit, which wasn't common with most systems of the day. Want to quickly point out that I got this switch box along with the Vision that you would need for certain older TVs that didn't have proper modern day connections. Considering the point in time we're at now, I'd prefer to have the manual instead. Now moving along the side, we have the AC adapter jack, which connects into this cord. Now if you thought that was abnormally big, wait until you see the actual plug. The Vision needs so much voltage to make sure the arcade experience comes to our homes. But seriously though, did it have to be this big? The bottom of the system doesn't have much to look at either. All it has are some vents, screws, pads, and the Coleco logo sitting neatly in their places. We also have this noticeable sticker that shows the FCC ID, what industry this system was made by, and what country this was made in. I suspect there was another sticker here that had more information, but I can't say that for sure. Now before someone says my system needs a little cleanup, I would just like to point out that it's difficult to keep anything of this color clean, especially if it's this old. The Vision doesn't mind being a little dirty, as long as it can still play games. And the games it does play are some of the best you could see back in the day. What Coleco did to counteract Atari's arcade hits were to go for the lesser known arcade titles and make them hits on the system. And games like Mousetrap, Venture, Looping, Mr. Do, and Ladybug became very well known on the system, and the inclusion of Donkey Kong certainly helped no end. Eventually, third-party developers would make their way to the system like Activision and Parker Brothers and release some of their greater hits on the ColecoVision, and of course the expansion module had you able to play any and all Atari 2600 games on the Vision. Sorry, Atari, but the ColecoVision was indeed a great system. It had the games and the graphics to hold its own against all competitors, even the Atari 5200, even though that wasn't much of a threat. But what I think brought it down was the company's ever-expanding ventures with the computer that stunk, and even inflating the market by releasing their games on other systems. More of these sort of factors would eventually lead to the video game crash of 1983, where the Vision would succumb to, and Coleco would never get into video games after that. Until a chameleon almost came out of hiding. If you do get a chance to buy a ColecoVision, you should absolutely get one, so you can see a vision that the Connecticut Leather Company had that would take video arcade games to the future in our homes, which isn't far off from what we have now. Only the graphics look so much better. It's the ColecoVision. Most people would think the ColecoVision was the third system in the battle for console supremacy, but what most forget is that the ColecoVision actually had some competition of its own. Like I said earlier, it wouldn't be much of a threat to the Coleco once everybody knew about the other system's big faults, but on the next episode we're going to see how Atari took their 2600, times it by 2, and made one of the more infamous console failures ever. If you think I missed anything, please leave a comment. If you like what you see, leave a like. If you think others could get knowledge out of this, share this video. And if you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe. Now if you'll excuse me, nostalgia is calling.